Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Dover, Delaware, the Monster Mile, and happy Friday Eve. Tonight, we're going to see a truck race here at the Monster Mile. It's the My Cricut Makes Truck Series, put on by the OG Racing League. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Singer, and this is Holler Boys Racing TV, live at virtual Dover International Speedway. Thank you for joining us. We've got a few of you in the stream so far. I see at least 4 viewers. We're talking big time numbers. We got to pump those up, but we'll get there. Those that are here, I appreciate you being here to watch. Hopefully we found a good show here for you tonight. Practice is just wrapping up here at Dover. Just under 4 minutes remaining in this afternoon session. Let's go down and take a look, see where everybody is running time-wise on the track. See Dustin Painter, right now fastest in practice, 22.86 seconds. Dustin Painter in the number 65 truck. Steve Racchino. I'm going to go with Racchino until I'm corrected here. He's second fast, the number 24. Only 1/100th of a second slower. The 78 of Alfie Charon Jr. He's 400ths of a second off. Mike LaJoy, 4th, 500ths. Mark Thomas, his 5th fastest, 800ths of a second off that top time. Pretty close times here in practice. Curious to see how practice rolls out. Really first all the way down to 19th. We're looking 3.5 tenths of a second gap. Pretty close. There's gains to be made everywhere around this concrete mile high banked oval. So I'm going to see how these guys work it this afternoon. Before we get too deep into the woods here, let's thank some sponsors involved. Of course, My Cricut Makes involved here tonight. Primary sponsor, you see them up in the ticker in the upper left there. See Tabitha Brown. She can get you hooked up with anything she can put together on that Cricut. You also see it in the timing tower on the left. I'd like to point that out for everybody. And of course, her cell phone, 618-340-0900. Give her a call, give her a text, see what she can get made for you, or find her on Facebook. And by LSI Litchfield Specialty. D. Dixon and Sons Trucking Incorporated. Sudath Taxidermy. Give them a call, 636-544-7836 for your taxidermy needs. And a personal sponsor here for the stream, Whiplash Media, providing custom cameras for tonight's action. You'll see multiple camera angles in the race car, around the facility, and in the air. Find Whiplash Media on Facebook for all your custom camera needs for your stream. Again, just about 10 seconds left here in the practice session before we get into qualifying. Dustin Painter, Stephen Racchino, Alfie Charon, Mike LaJoy, Mark Thomas, your top 5 in this practice session. That's going to make the practice official. Looks like Aaron Conover is going to be the first to roll out. Maybe, maybe not. James Kerr, he's in the gas, rolling out of the pit lane. He's going to start his qualifying attempt. Good-looking truck, Signcraft on the right side. That number 75 U.S. Marine Corps logo on the lift gate in the back. Tailgate, lift gate. Not really a lift gate. It's a truck. It's a tailgate. James Kerr, the third out of Snow Camp, North Carolina, coming out turn 4 to take the green flag in his qualifying attempt. Lap 1 for Kerr. 23.398. Kerr through 3 and 4 to take the checkered flag down the front stretch here. Lap 2, is it going to be any quicker? We'll see. Burps the throttle off 4. At the line, the 23.28. Improvement by the 75 truck. Brian Torch on track, the number 2. Torch Red, number 2. That's a good-looking truck. Let's see, we got Dixon and Sons Trucking on the front. I think I saw LSI Specialty on the bottom. Left side, right side. Trying to get all those sponsors in. Brian at 23.070, good enough for 4th fastest on his first lap. Let's see if he can dip down into the 22s on his second lap. Dustin Painter, though, at 22.82. He's at the top of the board. Quick time for that Toyota Tundra. Lap 2 for Brian, 23.093. Did not pick up. Still a stout lap, nothing to be ashamed of, but Dustin Painter on pole right now with a 22.88 officially. Live timing says an 82. We might have gotten an incident penalty on that second lap. Aaron Conover's got lap 1 in the books, 23.078. I think that might have been the same almost lap time that Brian just ran. Lap 2 at 22.856. Not quite pole, but front row for Conover. Mike LaJoy rolling out of the pits. Moving awful slow on the apron, but picking up the throttle right now. Mike LaJoy looking smooth off turn 4, keeps his foot in it. Lap 1 for LaJoy, front row, 22.847 seconds for the 29 truck. A little bit of cloud cover here in Dover, Delaware, maybe cooling things down, giving Mike a little bit more grip. See if he can pick it up, take the pole away from Dustin Painter. Oh, in the wall off 4, tried to get all he could. Couldn't get enough. He's going to stick to that second spot. 22.847, the official lap time for Mike LaJoy. That's Steven Ricchino. Steve was second quick in practice. That number 24 Chevy Silverado. Probably the last truck that's gotten an opportunity here to maybe take the pole away from Dustin Painter. Mike LaJoy was close, 0.02 of a second. Sun pops back out here. Just as Ricchino starts lap 2. He's 4th quick on his first lap, 22.881. Real tight times here up in the top 5. We're talking half a tenth all the way back to 5th spot. And Rakino in the wall off 4 on lap 2 as well. These guys are certainly pushing that throttle down hard, getting all it can give them, and a little bit more. Second lap for Rakino does not count with that contact into the wall. He does drop back to the 5th position. David Wright, though, just finishing up his second lap, puts himself on the outside front row. Did not catch Wright in practice at all to see what kind of times that he had. May have just gotten into the session, but either way, very impressive lap time for the number 42. David Wright puts that machine on the outside pole. That's going to about do it, I believe. It looks like Thomas Melnick and Alfie Charon did not make an attempt in qualifying. We do have 3.5 minutes officially left in the session, so I assume they could make an attempt before the session does come to an end. Running 22-second laps here. It does not take long to get in a couple of qualifying times. Just over a minute if you count the out lap. But as it sits right now, if you look at that timing tower on the left of your screen, Painter, Wright, LaJoie, Conover, Rakino, all separated by half a tenth of a second. These are going to be our top 5 to watch, I think, for most of the afternoon in contention here. Again, Thomas was quick. 10.5 off pole. Murphy, not too shabby either. I mean, really, any of these guys up in that top 10 for sure. But as we saw last night in the modified race, it's unpredictable. You can't take the hats to victory lane before they drop the checkers. So race has to be run. 100 laps here at Dover before we can really crown a champion of Dover. Minute and a half left. If these guys are going to make an attempt, the 2 left, Melnick and Sharon Jr., we shall see. Clock ticking down, just over 90 seconds left. Sometimes you'll see guys wait until the very last minute in the session to get a little bit better time, kind of crossing your fingers and gambling a bit, hoping the sun dips behind a cloud. It drops the track temperature ever so slightly. You can usually pick up a half a tenth or more, depending on how drastic that weather change is. But in a 10-minute session, it's gambling. You know, that cloud cover could roll in 2 or 3 minutes in, and then all of a sudden the last 6 or 7, it's going to be bright sunshine, and what you hoped would be a help ends up being a hindrance. Again, a track like Dover, it's concrete surface. Yeah, it is affected certainly by the sun, but not quite as much as your blacktop would be. But nevertheless, you'll see it come into play here during the race. As the track rubber's in, of course, it changes color. Tire rubber nice and black, you'll darken down the racing surface, and it will take heat a little bit more than this white concrete surface when it's not really rubbered up. Looks like we've got maybe 6 viewers in the YouTube side, 8 over on the Facebook side. So looks like the Facebook stream is winning tonight. Not always the case, but it does seem to be relatively common. Thank you all for joining us. It is much appreciated. Qualifying session official. Let's go into our grid here. Take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's My Cricut Makes Truck Series race here in Dover. On the pole again, Dustin Painter was fastest in practice, 22.821 second lap. That's really getting it around this place in a truck. Second, David Wright, 2/100ths of a second behind, and he sits on the outside pole in that number 42. Mike LaJoy out of New England, number 29, he rolls off from the third spot. Fourth is Aaron Conover. Fifth, Steve Ricchino. Again, if I'm saying that name wrong, someone help me out. That's just how I'm seeing it. Steve's out of New York State. Mark Thomas in sixth. Mark out of the UK. Mark, I think, won at COTA recently. I ran that race and could not catch him. Dan Murphy Jr. rolls off from the 7th position. Brian Torcha in OG Racing's number 2. He'll roll off 8th. Dale Egan in the 9. I think he's got Sudaf taxidermy on that machine. If I remember correctly, it looked pretty sharp with the different camo style paint on that truck. It looked great. Rolling off 10th is Kevin Newborn in the 51. Ben Choate will start from the 11th position. James Kerr the 3rd, Black Astid Custom Racing. He rolls off from the 12th position. 13th will be Ronaldo McKinnon, Southern LED Automotive. 14th will be Pete Woodrum in the 8th. Bill Voracek out of Illinois in that number 9 will roll off 15th, while Shane Wagner, the 26th, out of Michigan, rolls off in the 16th position. Derek Cook, 17th. Dakota Rogers, 18th. Josh Battles, 19th. Matt Wilson, 20th. Alfie Charon Jr., 21st. And last but not least, with TRS Motorsports, it's Tom Melnick. Tom Melnick, Mr. Jr.? Not sure how that's going to be going, but yeah, Tom Melnick in the 22. Or the 80-88, starting 22nd. We'll get it right eventually.
Ready, green flag.
Green flag in the air. Dustin Painter gets the jump on the start. The 42 of Wright to his outside. Mike LaJoy looking to the inside of the 65, thinking about 3 wide for a moment, but the 65 clears right up high. Mike LaJoy 3rd to 1st on the opening salvo. The 29 takes the lead off turn number 4. It's LaJoy, Ricchino, Murphy Jr., Wright, and Conover. Field working off turn number 2. Look for the inside by Steve Ricchino. He's got the position into 3. Down low is the 24. LaJoy up high. Give the position to Steve Ricchino. Two laps, 2 lead changes. Right now, Steve Ricchino is your current leader. LaJoy 2nd, Murphy 3rd, Wright 4th, Conover's 5th. Dustin Painter went from pole back to 6th. Just trying to get his feet under him and get settled into a groove here. Looking out the back window of the number 24, Steve Ricchino. Looking back at Mike LaJoy, Dan Murphy, David Wright, Dustin Painter. Top 5 as they work through turn number 3. Seven laps in of 100 in the My Cricut Makes Truck Series at the Monster Mile. Steve Ricchino took the lead here. I think it was lap 2 coming to 3. Continues to keep that lead here, putting about a 6/10 of a second gap back to Mike LaJoy. keep an eye on the battles throughout the field. Dan Murphy in that number 41. Running in the third spot, up 4 positions from where he started. Not a great qualifying lap. Started 7th, running top 3 right now. '42 of David Wright runs in the 4th position. Dustin Painter got one of those spots back, was relegated to the 6th position after that start. Started on the pole, running in the 5th spot. "90 miles to go here in Dover. Faster than a boat ride to Cuba for sure." Closest battle on the track for now is between David Wright and Dustin Painter in the 65. Painter swings it wide off 4, just barely missing the outside safer barrier. Right on board with the 65 of Dustin Painter as he tries to track down David Wright for the 4th spot. Seemed to be right there on the tailgate a lap ago. Wright has put about a 2.5 gap on him. Looks like David's going to run into traffic here with Dan Murphy Jr. running in the 3rd spot. As soon as you see David start to work around, try to make a pass on Murphy, you may see Painter start to catch up. Battle with the 42 and the 65 kind of dissipating. Now it's between the 41 and the 42. Dan Murphy Jr. and David Wright. This will be for the 3rd spot. David Wright, well, he's right there. Dan Murphy's got the position, however. David wants to take it away. While this all goes on, Steve Ricchino in the 24 continues to pull away slightly on Mike LaJoie. It's down to 0.4 of a second this time as we see the 42 going low on Dan Murphy, making the pass, move David Wright up to the 3rd position. Remember, David Wright started on the outside front row, slipped back relatively early. I think it was lap 1 or 2. We had big troubles really for our front row starting trucks. David Wright back up to 3rd while Dustin Painter up to the 5th spot. We'll see David Wright work on Mike LaJoie here off turn number 2. Tracking him down nicely. It's a good run down the back into 3. He's half a car length, maybe a car length off the tailgate of the 29. Taking a look inside. Drives it in deep, turn number 1. David Wright looking for that 2nd spot around Mike LaJoie. Side by side off turn number 4. Giving each other plenty of room, though the 29 of LaJoie does scrape the wall down the backstretch. David Wright down low once again into 3 and 4. Going to have him clear off turn number 4. Crossover move by LaJoie. Nope, nothing doing. The 42 swings back down into turn number 1. Give David Wright the 2nd position back. 20 laps in, 80 to go here in Dover. Now the question is, how long will it take for Wright to catch the leader, Steve Ricchino? Steve's put 2 seconds now back on David Wright's second position. Again, a lot of that, I would assume, Ricchino's running some pretty good laps, but at the same token, all that battling for position behind him kind of puts everyone behind the leader at a disadvantage, slows him down just a bit, and that gap went from half a second to 2 seconds in about 2 laps. Compare the leaders' lap times here. Let's see if we can get that into the graphic. Last time by, David Wright just a tick quicker than our leader, Steve Ricchino. 24 ran a 24:32. David Wright, 0.03 of a second, a little bit less quicker than the 24. With time, he could catch him, but he's going to need to pick it up. Quicker still, but not by much. Blink of an eye speed. Switching up the graphic a bit, we've got David Wright here on top in the second position, center of your screen. Ricchino was quicker that last lap, so all that gaining that David Wright had done pretty much disappeared at this point. The gap remains about 2 seconds from leader Ricchino back to the 42, David Wright. Steve Ricchino already running into some lap traffic here, 26 laps into this 100-lap event. Let's go through the field while we got it. These guys have seemingly gotten themselves into a rhythm, into a solid groove. Steve Ricchino started in the 5th spot, finds himself in the lead here. Lap 27, he took that over, I believe it was lap 3 officially. David Wright, the outside pole sitter, continues to run in the 2nd position. Was kind of jockeyed back, I think it was about 5th, maybe 6th, on the initial start. Worked his way back through, runs in the 2nd place. And apologies on the YouTube side for the comments you're seeing right now. You can ignore that. See if we can fix that problem. Hopefully we don't see that again. But moving on, Mike LaJoie runs in the 3rd position. A little bit of damage to the right front of LaJoie's truck. I can only assume he got contact with the outside wall, likely off turn number 4. It's rather treacherous. A lot of guys were making contact there, but right front fender caved in, right side pancaked, right rear dented in. A lot of side force being lost on that machine. Have to see how that affects the 29 the rest of the afternoon. Running in the 4th spot, Dan Murphy Jr. Let's pull up the graphic here. Dan Murphy Jr. out of Pepperell, Mass, looks like. There's New England on the side, we can only assume. Mark Thomas runs in the 5th position. Mark is up 1 spot from where he started, having a good afternoon. Actually looking for the 4th position here, trying to get around Dan Murphy Jr. Seems he has position. A little bit of contact, though. Guess they got away with it. Back to Dustin Painter, our pole sitter in the 65. North American Motor Car, Sierra Delta on the rear deck there. Aaron Conover in the 20. Aaron runs in the 6th position as he works his way around a lap truck. Brian Torcha in that number 2. It's a good-looking truck. Torch red. LSI on the side. D. Dixon, Sons and Trucking all over the rest of that. OG Racing League in the right rear. It's one of my favorite paints. Ben Choate running in the 8th position. Ben is up 3 spots from where he qualified, that number 19 Toyota Tundra. That twin motorcycle on that paint. Kevin Newborn in the 9th position. Georgia Bulldogs on that number 51. And Bill Voracek at number 9. Ford F-150. Again, LSI. You got Bad Apple Racing TRS. That Ford F-150 running in the 10th spot, up 5 positions from where he started. In 11th, we've got Dale Legan. He's got Sudath Taxidermy on that 05 truck. And looks like we've got pit stops and a caution. We just talked about Ben Choate. It looks like he was involved. Oh, and the 05 hits the 9 in pit entry. What in the world? Well, let's go back to the instant replay here, see what happened with Ben Choate. Pick it up and then slow it down when we get there. Ben looks like he's running by himself here. I don't know if this was an issue trying to get onto pit lane for his green flag stop. Already some damage on the right side. Yeah, it just locks him up. Too much rear brake. Spins it up in front of traffic, back into the groove. Yellow flag comes out. Another indication that Mike LaJoy may have had an incident. Let's see what happened with Mike. Mike coming out of the pit lane. Yeah, I don't see an issue here. Well, anyways, you see the 05 of Dale Legan tore up pretty good. I believe these guys do have a fast repair they can use, but my assumption is it may not have been checked. Dale sits in his pit stall without repairs being affected, at least not instantly. So, tough break for the 05. We'll take a short break and we will return for the restart. Back to Dover, Delaware. We are still under our first caution of the afternoon. David Wright, though, in the lead here. He was a ways back from catching Steve Ricchino at the time. Manages to get back to the front here in the lead, I'm assuming by way of pit strategy or just a clean and quick pit stop. David Wright, 14.85 second stop, 4 tires in Sunoco Racing Fuel. Ricchino was actually quicker, though, 14.45, so I'm not sure if he had an issue on exit. I know Ricchino pit on lap 34 and Wright lap 36. 24 may have tried to get his pit work done under green as the yellow had come out. It's the only thought I have of that. Again, apologies in the YouTube side of the stream. We're getting spam chatted here. Unless that's your sort of thing, but it just fills up my chat, and I don't like it.
Negative, they called it off.
So it looks like we're going to go one more lap of green here. They've called off to restart. I think they're just race officials trying to get everybody lined back up properly. Lights are off on the pace car. The iRacing pace car hits pit lane. Going back green.
Green flag.
Truck in the wall in the backstretch. Single truck incident. He gathers it up. David Wright continuing to lead after taking it over during this caution. Looking strong. Brian Torcha, second spot, almost a second gap back to the 2 truck already. Dustin Painter, the pole sitter, running in the 7th position, that number 65 truck. Did get a report that Matt Wilson did crash. Not sure how serious. It wasn't enough for a caution. May have a replay. Let's take a look. Oh, this was the 81 truck that scraped the wall on the restart. Scrapes it again on entry to 3. Tough afternoon so far for the 81. Back up front, David Wright continues to lead, but that number 2 truck of Brian Torcha has caught the 42. Truck length, maybe a truck length and a half off turn number 2, closing in on our leader. Also, Steve Ricchino has made his way back up into the top 3, put him in the 3rd position. Torch just a tick faster that last lap than leader David Wright. David Wright's machines does seem to come in a little bit better later on in the run. Very evident thus far in this half of the race. I know early on, again, he started outside pole. This time, David picks up the pace. 42 starts outside pole, slips back to about the 5th position, and then slowly works his way back to the lead, or close to it, during the course of that run. Well, here we are at the beginning of this run. They got tires lap 36. They've been back under green for about 3 or 4 laps. Brian Torcha has caught Mr. Wright in a hurry. And this time, David picked up the pace again. Last 2 laps was faster than the 2 truck, but Steve Ricchino is definitely catching the 2 in this time frame. So look for the 24 to maybe make a move around the 2 truck here shortly. We do have a yellow Dakota Rogers involved. Let's see if we can pull up the replay here. Dakota Rogers involved in an incident on track. Take a look at the replay. Dakota Rogers in that number 5 in the high lane, the black and green machine up high. This is working off turn 2. A little dicey down the backstretch, but I don't see anything of consequence there. Into 3 and 4 now. It's at 5 in the 52. Ronaldo McKinnon down low. Rogers up high. This is off now turn 4. Yeah, over rotates a little bit. Actually looks like it might have been a bit of a netcode issue here. Let's back up a little bit again. Yeah, so look at the 5 truck up high, trying to stay off the wall, over rotates it. Yeah, didn't actually touch the 52. There was quite a bit of space between those 2 trucks, but some reason it still turns the 52 into the outside safer barrier. 5 comes down, collects the 41 truck as well. Dan Murphy Jr. involved. Again, it's an unfortunate circumstance with iRacing at times, as there's a little bit of a netcode issue where the sim thinks you made contact, so it provides the appropriate reaction, but in reality, contact really wasn't made. So it's just, it's the way the ball bounces sometimes. Back live here, lap 53 of 100 at the Monster Mile in the My Cricut Makes Truck Series. Looks like we're working about 8 trucks currently on the lead lap. That first caution fell right in the middle of a green flag pit sequence, caught a lot of these trucks laps down. So that's why we have such a disparity between the top 8 and the rest of the field. 22 trucks here this afternoon at Dover. Good field of trucks. But Mike LaJoie, I mean, Mike looked so strong earlier on in the race. Top 3, led a couple of laps, maybe 1 lap. But either way, Mike's running 9th. I think Mike's actually a lap down. So again, another caution would help. I think he can get his lap back if they do a lucky dog type situation. He'll work his way back around and hopefully improve that position. Just have to wait and see and how things go from here on out. Again, you hear the 2 truck of Brian Torcha clutching it a little bit, saving some fuel. Yeah, you can see right on his dashboard, right in front of the steering wheel, left of your screen, tachometer. We're only running about 1100 RPM right now as he coasts with his clutch foot pushed in. Some guys take it as far as clutching it and even hitting the ignition and shutting the truck right off. It's actually a practice that I do quite a bit when I'm running some of these races. Even if I don't think I'm short on fuel, I always save. Even on the opening lap of the race, if I can get up to speed, shut the truck down, coast, turn the ignition back on and let the clutch out, truck fires right back up. Definitely buy yourself a lap, maybe even 2 of fuel if you're doing it on every yellow. Lights are out atop the iRacing pace car. We're going to be going green this time by. Dustin Painter's worked his way back up into the top 4. Right along with Painter on the restart. Green flag in the air. David Wright off and running. Great jump by the 65. Also, Steve Ricchino in the 24 gets to the inside of Painter. Dustin drops it down low, tucks in behind the 2 of Brian Torcha. Good restart by the 24. Gets 2 positions, move him up to the 2nd spot. Things looking quite well for the 42 truck of David Wright. He's out to a 3/4 second advantage over Steven Ricchino. Steven Ricchino really not gaining any ground at this point. It's almost a second disadvantage for the 24 at this point. Lap 60 of 100 to go, 40 laps left. Back up front, David Wright just stretching that lead out pretty considerably. It's up to 1.64 seconds. Back to Steven Ricchino in the 24. Brian Torcha, it's 2.1 seconds. Back to the 3rd position, 2.3 to Painter. 3 seconds back to 5th place, Mark Thomas. Brian Torcha's going to have some company here in a minute. Dustin Painter right on the tailgate of that 2 truck. Half a car length, not even. Closes in pretty considerably through turn number 2. Taking a look down the backstretch, got the position into 3. Dustin Painter still alongside the 2 of Brian Torcha. Brian relinquishes the position for the bottom lane. Move the 65 of Dustin Painter up to the 3rd spot. 35 laps to go. '50 of Mark Thomas now taking a look inside the 2 truck. He's got to run into turn 1. Move the 50 of Thomas to 4th. Going underneath as well, they'll be at a lap down, is LaJoy. Handling on that 2 truck of Brian Torcha, just going away here in the middle stages of this afternoon's race at Dover. Field quieting down here at Dover, Delaware. Everybody kind of picking their spots, getting into a rhythm here for the final 31 laps of this afternoon's event. Steve Ricchino in that 2nd spot. Dustin Painter, though, closing down considerably. Looking at the back tailgate of that number 24 Napa Valvoline machine. Dustin Painter, he's definitely in go mode. Looks fast, running in 3rd. Drives it in deep once again. Tucks right into the back bumper of that 24 off turn number 4. Taking a look to the inside in 1, just a look. Right on the bottom line of the banking, maybe getting a tiny bit of left sides onto the apron. Risky business. There's some speed to be had there. You can certainly get the truck to rotate by doing that. But if you go a little bit too low, it's going to over-rotate and you're going to be in the fence. While these two continue to battle, it's allowed the 50 of Thomas to close in. 24 looking low on the apron here. Looks like Steve Ricchino making his pit stop. This will be his final stop of the day. Steve Ricchino pitting from the 2nd spot. It's within his window, lap 73 of 100. I think they can go 30 plus on a tank of fuel. Figured now is the time, kind of do the undercut, maybe get some tires. We'll see what the decision is. 24 comes to a stop in his box. Let's see if the truck goes on jacks. Right side's in the air. Sunoco Racing Fuel first can going in. Through around to the left side. Jack is under. We go up for 4 tire stop. 2nd can of Sunoco Race Fuel is in. The 24 is down and away. 4 tires and fuel for Steven Ricchino. 24 truck is down and away with 26 laps to go. Now, got to cross our fingers here if you're Steve Ricchino fans that we don't get a yellow because it's going to catch him down a lap. We've got some other guys making their pit stops. Mark Thomas is in the pit lane. Let's see what Mark does on his stop. Misses the box, has to back it up. Big mistake by the 50. Doesn't look like much when you watch it, only a couple of seconds, but that is a huge deficit when you're running 170 miles an hour around Dover International Speedway. 4 tires and fuel for the 50. Mark is down and away. We're Gonna have to see where he blends back out with 25 to go. Meanwhile, Dustin Painter has taken over the race lead. Dustin, the pole sitter, with 24 to go, has yet to make his final stop of the afternoon. He's within the window with 24 to go. These trucks can run about 30 plus on a full load of fuel. Keep an eye on the 65 of Painter to see when he peels off the banking and into his pit stall for service. See the speed difference between the two trucks, though. The 50 of Thomas on fresh tires. The 65 Painter, not so fresh. Thomas, again, not on the lead lap after that green flag stop. We'll have to see where everybody cycles out. We know he did have some issues. Slipped through his pit box on that cycle. 29 truck of Mike LaJoy up high, also on fresh rubber. Ooh, 65 a Painter, real slipping and sliding on the way to the pit entry here. He gets it woed down. Dustin Painter pitting for the last time this afternoon as the leader. Painter comes to a stop in his stall, nice and clean. A little bit slow on the entry, but didn't have to throw it reverse and back it up. Right side's up and down. New tires on the way. Left side's as well. New Goodyear Racing Eagles all the way around, and Dustin Painter is down and away. Current leader Derek Cook in the 38 has also not pit as of yet. These guys up in the top 4 positions just hoping for a caution here late would trap everybody a lap down. They all pit lap 52, lap 53. That's Cook, Newborn, Kerr, and Voracek. That's your top 4. Here Cook started in the 17th spot, so he would be thrilled if the caution could come out right now. But again, you see the speed differential, the 24 on new rubber, the 38 on old tires. Last lap for Derek Cook was a 25.68, and by comparison, Ricchino, who just passed him, ran a 23.59, so 2 seconds faster that time by for new tires. You can only imagine these leaders are just going to run it until they don't have the opportunity to go one more lap, run that tank dry until it's time to hit the pit lane and get that final stop, all while hoping the yellow flag does come out. Highest running truck with fresh tires is indeed the 24 of Steve Ricchino. I stand corrected. David Wright is the highest running truck on fresh tires, and that number 42. He pit at lap 73, so he's good to go till the end. Running in the 4th position, about 20 seconds back from the leader, Derek Cook. Closing that gap down considerably, as 2 seconds a lap will get him there in no time at all. And again, these top 3 are going to have to pit to make it to the end. $14 laps to go for Derek Cook, Kevin Newborn, James Kerr, David Wright, Steve Ricchino. That's the top 5, but keep in mind again, top 3 still need a pit stop to make it all the way to the finish. Huge difference in speed between new tires and old. Don't really think it's going to come down to the rubber, though. I think it's going to be more about the fuel in the tank. Bill Voracek has hit the pit lane for his stop. 38 of Cook swings up high. Dustin Painter and Mike LaJoie to the inside. Also the 20 getting on by. 38's going to have to struggle to get in. Locks him up. Oh, hits the blocks and the barrels at pit entry. Wisely slides it out of the way. The caution does not come out. Tough break for the 38. That was an issue with him getting caught in the high lane. On the lap he planned to pit. Had to swing it down low, got late on the brakes on entry, and just slid the nose right into those water barrels at the end of pit lane. David Wright has cycled back up to the lead here with 12 laps to go, the 42 in command, and the caution has come out here with 11 to go. This could change quite a bit. I'm not sure if there was anyone left on the lead lap that had not hit the pit lane, but the question is, who was on the pit lane on the lead lap, finishing their service when the caution fell? That's the question, because if they were able to get in, get service started on those trucks, get back out on the track before getting lapped, that is a huge advantage for anyone that got that. Now, looking at it as of now, the top five, Wright, Ricchino, Thomas, Painter, Torcha, they all pit about 73 to lap 79 in that neighborhood. The only one I was thinking was Derek Cook, but he ended up, he's shown as a lap down for sure. Again, he had his issues on pit entry. If he managed to get onto the pits clean, I gotta wonder if that would have worked out for him. It does appear that Mike LaJoie, though, is back on the lead lap, but he pit lap 74. So it looks like Mike's going to be the lucky dog here. Well, while we're under yellow, let's take a look here, see what happened with Shane Wagner. He's what's the reason for our yellow flag. 26 machine down in the low lane. So far, so good. Off two. Yep. Same situation, it looks like. The 26 was intending on pitting. Slides it up a bit off turn number 2, but wants to slide back down in that low lane so he can make his pit entry, but there was another truck to his inside. Cuts off the nose and around he goes. We're going to come around. We're going to get 8 to go. Lights are still on the pace car, so we could go back to green as soon as 7 laps to go. It's just going to depend on if the admins extend this or not. I'm not sure that they will. I think early on that happened just to kind of get the field lined up properly because we had some guys out of position. But here we see Mark Thomas in a position here, a good position, to maybe pull off a win here on an oval. I know he was dominant at Circuit of the Americas recently. Put on a clinic there. I'll toot my own horn. I'm pretty good on road courses, but he was... I can't even use buses to describe the distance that he put on me. But here he is at Dover with an opportunity, running second. 6 lap fresher tires than the leader. 2 lap fresher tires than the leader. Looks like Dustin Painter has the freshest tires of our top 3. He pit lap 79. Mike LaJoie, though, did pit lap 91. So that was this pit cycle. Brand new sticker Goodyears on that number 29. Mike LaJoie gonna have to hustle, but does have a slight tire advantage over the rest of the field. Looks like Ricchino's going to take the high side on the restart, as is his choice as leader. Mark Thomas down low. I don't know if I like this decision by the 24. I'd kind of want to be on the bottom here, but no, he gets a good restart. Right in a way in the gas. Mark Thomas a little late on the restart. Dustin Painter is going to take a look into one here, I think. Just a look. Mark Thomas maintains the second position. 7 laps to go here from Dover. Steve Ricchino, Mark Thomas, Dustin Painter, all under a blanket. Your top 3 here with 5 laps to go. It is time to go. The 50 of Mark Thomas has picked up the pace. Dustin Painter seems like the stronger truck right now, having to check up to avoid contact with the 50. But Mark Thomas really closing in on Ricchino here. Less than 5 to go, coming to 4. Ricchino swings it up in the high side. Thomas looking to the inside into turn 1. He is side by side. He is there with Ricchino taking the lead. Mark Thomas to P1 off turn number 2 with 3.5 laps to go. Dustin Painter to the inside of Ricchino. Dustin's going to take the second spot. Now this battle becomes one for first place and for the win here at Dover. 3 laps to go. Dustin Painter drives it in deep into turn number 1. Mark Thomas down low, single file off 2. Painter taking a peek to the inside, nothing doing into 3. Half a car length between the 50 and the 65 of Thomas and Painter. Painter taking a look once again, staying in the mirror of that 50 machine of Mark Thomas. Mark Thomas again off turn number 2. There is no gap between. He runs a low line off of the corner, trying to block the 65 into 3. Tucks in behind. Dustin Painter seems faster. 2 laps to go. Coming to the white flag. Mark Thomas has the lead. Painter taking a look into turn 1. Do we get a last lap pass? Not yet. Through turns 1 and 2. Mark Thomas, Dustin Painter off turn number 2. Painter to the 65 down low. Takes a look. Still tucks in behind on the tailgate of the 50 of Mark Thomas. Mark Thomas for the final time off turn number 4. He's going to hold off the pole sitter and win here at the Monster Mile. The My Cricut Makes Truck Series win at Dover, Delaware belongs to the 50 of Mark Thomas. What a finish. Ooh, I'm out of breath. Mark Thomas out of the UK. The only driver out of the UK running tonight, this afternoon at Dover. Congratulations to him. What a finish. Thought Painter was going to have him there at the end, but not to be. Truck looked pretty clean right until then. Backs it into Painter. Fabricators be damned. Definitely a happy driver behind the 50 of that machine. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a moment with our top 3 finishers. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Dover, Delaware at the Monster Mile. Woo! We just ran 100 laps here, and I'm out of breath. What a great race. What a great finish. Let's talk to our winner, Mark Thomas. Mark, it's Steve Singer in the HBR TV booth. Do you have a copy?
I do, Steve. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, not as good as you. Congratulations. You brought home a win on an oval. I've not been following the series very much, but I know you kicked my hind end at the road course at Coda recently. Is this your first oval win?
For the trucks, it's been a while since I've had an oval win. Yeah, it's been quite a while since I've had an oval win. But I wouldn't say it's my first. I think I did a couple in the first series, not this one though.
Well, again, congratulations. It was a hell of a finish to the end. You were certainly fighting hard to keep the 65 of Painter behind you. He seemed faster, I'm not going to lie, but he couldn't quite make the run. I don't think he wanted to turn you, and he raced you clean there at the end. What was going through your mind those final laps?
DP, I think, had much fresher tyres than I was. I think mine were about 25, almost 30 laps old. I could see him bearing down on me every time, and I was trying to hold the line, not cut him off, but just squeeze my line in, make it hard for him to pass. And I do appreciate him not turning me in that last one. He could have. I mean, he could have given me a little nudge, and it would have been all over for me. To be honest, I wouldn't have blamed him for it, but he raced me clean, and for that, I've got to give DP all the respect in the world.
Well, it was certainly entertaining from up here in the booth. I hope all the viewers enjoyed it. That's for sure. I know I did. Congratulations. Before we go on to second place finisher DP, do you have anybody on the truck that you need to thank that helped you get here today?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Bad Obsession Motorsport for letting me continue to run their livery on my truck. All of the guys who run the league, DP, James Kerr, Brian Rupert, all of those guys, and yourself for broadcasting. Absolutely superb. I really appreciate it, all of you.
Well, we appreciate it too, Mark. Again, congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks very much. Take care, Steve.
That was our winner, Mark Thomas, and that number 50 truck started fifth. It looks like fifth, maybe sixth. Brings it home. P1, first oval win in a while. First this season for sure in the truck series. We'll move on to next, our second place finisher, Dustin Painter. Dustin, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy?
I got you loud and clear, bud.
Well, you started P1 here. You won practice, you won qualifying, and you got 8 up early. Let's talk about that first. You went from first to, I think, sixth in that opening start. First of all, walk us through that. What happened there?
Actually, I saw Mike LaJoy with a good run on the bottom. It was way too early. I kind of wanted to save tire anyway for the first run, and just let them go. Try to come back later on in the race.
Well, certainly did that much. Strategy play at hand for sure. Saving tires throughout the race. This place is known for chewing up tires. You did well. You knew when to turn the power on. You certainly did that later in the run as you turned it into a second place finish. Was there anything you really could have done to get by Mark Thomas? I know you had about 5 lap fresher tires. You seemed faster. Short of really turning them, what were your options?
That was the only option, and I don't like to race that way. I'd rather finish second all day long. I actually didn't even like the shot I gave him coming off of 2. He got a little bit loose, and he's like, I thought you were coming inside. I said, well, I figure if I did that, then there's more than likely a chance I go to the bottom wall. So I don't like to race like that at all. I'd rather finish second all day. It was a fun race. Enjoyed it.
Well, it was cool to see. I really expected some contact there at the end. It was nice to see that you raced him clean. You put on a good show for us. You put a good show on for the fans watching in the broadcast, and we certainly do appreciate it. Congratulations on second place. Congratulations on the pole. Before we let you go, is there anybody you need to thank that helped you get it done today?
Well, Danny Bone Racing, he was driving this truck. I've spotted for him for years, and he's no longer driving this truck, but hopefully his sponsors, North American Motor Car Company, and, Rust-Oleum and those guys that have been on him for sponsoring him for years will come and find another real truck deal in the future.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Dustin Painter, your second place finisher here this afternoon at Dover. Congratulations, Dustin. We'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
And it looks like our third place finisher, Steve Ricchino, I'm going to find out if I'm saying his name right, is already in the booth, but it looks like he's muted.
No, I'm here. I hear you.
There we go. Steven, am I saying it right, Rakino?
Not really, but it's not that big of a deal.
Well, I want to say it right. How do we say the last name, Steve?
So Ra, Queen. Oh, so Raquino.
Raquino. Okay, well, it's close. Not perfect, but
There you go.
either way, not as good as your third place finish. You looked pretty strong this afternoon. Thought you were going to bring home a win. You were certainly up leading this race quite a bit. What would have been the key? Was it just the late cautions that kind of bit you, or did you have another strategy that you could have pulled out of your hat to maybe get a better finishing position this afternoon?
It was really that first caution that bit me. I mean, I was out so far just trying to save my tires, and I was like, I'm gonna pit and try to avoid that undercut. And the caution came out, and I was on pit road, and that kind of killed my race because then I lost so much ground to that 42. I was just playing catch up the whole time, and my tires were just shot. The only chance they had of that win on the last restart is try to get a big jump, but my tires were just shot trying to catch up to that 42.
Yeah, tough afternoon for David Wright. He was looking pretty strong for quite a while himself. Ended up bringing the truck home in the 14th spot. So the caution that kind of hurt you, it didn't hurt you too bad. You still brought it home top 3. Congratulations there. Is there a chance maybe you saved too much tire, or was it not really the case for you this afternoon?
That first run, I was trying to just save my tires when I had like a 2-second lead. I probably had the best car all race, but just that first caution killed me. There's playing catch up, just chewing my tires out so much trying to get that 42, and didn't work out.
24 gets bit by a caution at the imperfect time. Again, congratulations either way on the third place finish. Before we let you go, anybody you need to thank that helped you get things done here this afternoon?
Probably my dad, honestly, got me into racing. I'm from New York City, not much racing going on around here, so probably just my dad.
All right, that is third place finisher Steve Raquino. Did I say it right that time?
Hey, you got it right. There you go.
All right, I'll keep practicing. We'll see you next week, Steve. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. See you.
Well, that's your top 3, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Thomas, Dustin Painter, Steve Raquino. I was close. Give me a break. Either way, the My Cricut Makes Truck Series Dover 100, we'll call it. It's in the books. Mark Thomas, your winner. Mark Thomas all the way from the UK. I don't know what time it is there. I'm sure it's relatively late. I mean, it's 9:15 here on the East Coast of the United States. It's got to be later there. I don't know what time it is, but it's late, all right? Certainly would be past my bedtime. But before we let everybody go, let's take a look at the final results for this afternoon's race here at Dover. Of course, Mark Thomas, your winner. Where is it? There we go. There it is. Mark Thomas is your winner. Dustin Painter, your pole sitter, finishes second in that number 65. Steven Raquino finishes in the third position. Brian Torcha, 4th spot. A good run by Brian. He started, I think, 8th, brings it home 4th. Looked real strong there late. I think he had a top 3 in his hands, but just couldn't quite keep it in his grasp. Mike LaJoy finishes in the 5th position. Started 3rd, so lost a couple there. Aaron Conover in the number 20. He finishes in the 6th spot. Didn't see a whole lot of Aaron this afternoon, but quietly worked his way back. Almost sniffs the top 5 and at least gets the top 10 out of it. Derek Cook in the number 38. Troubles on pit entry on that final stop. Still brings it home in the 7th position. 10-spot jump from where he started. I'm going to give him that hard charger award. If there even is one, he deserves it. Finishing 8th was James Kerr III. 9th was Kevin Newborn. 10th, Bill Voracek. 11th was Josh Battles. 12th, Pete Woodrum. 13th was Ronaldo McKinnon. 14th, David Wright. Again, David looks strong too. David led some laps tonight, was out front for quite a while, seemed to have the pit strategy down. It just did not work out and play in his favor in the end. Not sure if he had an off-track excursion or not, but either way, 14th place credit for David Wright. 15th, Dan Murphy Jr. 16th was Dakota Rogers. 17th was Matthew G. Wilson. Shane Wagner was 18th. Dale Legan was 19th after a crash in the pit lane as well, I believe, or at least getting onto pit lane. 20th was Ben Choate. And it looks like Alfred Sharon and Thomas Melnick, though, in the standings, did not turn a lap, possibly here as admins. But either way, they are classified, so we're going to make mention of it one way or another. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Again, I'm new broadcaster for this series, so this is only my, I think, 4th overall race. We had our 3rd one last night, 4th one tonight, and a couple of one-offs prior. I really appreciate being a broadcaster for this series. It seems to be a pretty good group of guys that like to race. They race relatively clean. Of course, everybody has their hiccups. Certainly do appreciate being here and excited for what is to come going forward. The league does come with some special sponsors. You can't do this for nothing. You gotta have some help. You gotta have some real important people behind you, helping pay for things like a broadcast, for instance, and getting guys involved. Leagues cost money, but first and foremost, again, we got to thank for the truck series. It's the My Cricut Makes Truck series. So shout out to Tabitha Brown. Give her a shout if you need any kind of custom-made signs and more. 618-340-0900. LSI Specialty. D. Dixon and Sons Trucking Incorporated. Sudef Taxidermy. Again, call 636-544-7836 for your taxidermy needs. And once again, tonight we did have some assistance with Whiplash Media providing custom cameras for tonight's stream here at Dover International Speedway. Find Whiplash Media on Facebook for all your custom camera iRacing needs for your next stream. So with that, I want to say thank you once again for joining in, participating in the chat. Well, there wasn't a whole lot of chat participation. Let's work on that. I'm the only guy up here. I get a little lonely sometimes. If there is any kind of downtime under caution, I'd like to chat with you guys. So don't be shy. Jump in the chat. Say hello. I forgot to even throw out my trivia. I had 2 trivia questions, but we just didn't get to it. It's too busy. It's a fast lap around here, 22 seconds. So next time. For that, I'm Steve Singer with Holler Boys Racing TV. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.